Gonna absorb the Shadow Ball onto Poliwrath and his 2-shield Zard tile. We come in, get ahead in energy, the opponent sends out G-Weezy, and this is by no means a Charizard response. We can easily tank one Brutal Swing. We're going to continue to farm up. Charizard wins CMP, so we throw the Blast Burn on the CMP tie, and it's time to get this G-Weezy out of here. Welcome back to the channel. We're double uploading today because I've got a team that you can actually climb with. You can see on the screen I went 17-3. And we finally hit Veteran. We ended the day at 2,599 elo. This team worked so well. I think a lot of that's down to the fact that absolutely no one respects Alolan Sandslash. My last upload was a team featuring Alolan Ninetales with Gliscor and Swampert. And I personally lost to every single Sandslash I saw. Charizard usage this season is also down, mainly due to the fact that Incinerate this season did get buffed. So people are favouring both Talonflame and Skeledirge. However, after using it, I'll be honest, this thing is as ruthless as it ever was. The team I'm going to be using today is a team I actually lost to in my last upload. I asked the question, would you like to see me run that triple Shadow team? People said yes, so here it is. Someone also commented saying they'd like to see Shadow Charizard in action, so we're going to kill two birds with one stone. As always, if there's any Shadow Pokemon or a triple Shadow team you'd like to see me use, post it down below and I'll look to put it to work. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Alolan Sandslash into Tentacle, the opponent stays in, we farm up, throw the Drill Run on the CMP tie, gaining ourselves early shield advantage. The opponent lightly throws the Skull, but Sonic easily tanks one. We're going to continue to farm up, once again look to throw on the CMP tie, the opponent anticipate that play and try to catch it on Greedent. We hold our energy and send out Poliwrath. I'll be honest, I already know this team. It's going to be a team from Home Slice Henry, it's going to be Guzzlord in the back. People love to copycat teams, and we have the perfect alignment as Charizard, of course, has access to Dragon Claw that's going to hit Guzzlord for super effective. We throw the Icy Wind on the CMP side, lowering Greedent's attack. That's going to allow us to tank one further Body Slam, then commit to the full counter farm down. Poliwrath is going to leave quite low, which is advantageous, as when Squidward does return, they're not going to be able to get too much free farm. Back out comes the Squid, we fire off the Scald. We don't see the attack drop, although it doesn't really matter as they now find themselves in Drill Run range. I send back out Sonic with a whole heap of residual energy, go straight for the Drill Run, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent gets greedy, continue to farm up, and it's going to be see you fucking later, Squid. The team read was on point. This is one of the issues. If you're going to use a content creators team, people will know the team. I could have stayed in with Sandslash, fired off the Ice Punch, but I just opt to send out Charizard. We shield up a Crunch. I've got two Protect Shields. I may as well start using them. We return fire with the first Dragon Claw, which lands for massive damage. We're already at the second Dragon Claw, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we lead Shadow Alolan Sandslash into Nidoqueen. The battle of the Shadows are very much in my favour. We farm up, throw the Ice Punch on the CMP side. We do lose CMP. I am going to respect the first move. The opponent full send the Earth Power. Good shield on my part, and we're going to return fire with the Ice Punch. Ice Punch forces the opponent's Protect Shield. I'm going to continue to farm up. The opponent then switch out into Jellicent, and this is pretty much where the team wants to see it. I farm up, throw the Drill Run. Drill Run lands for decent neutral damage. The opponent doesn't even build up to a Shadow Ball, so this is going to be an easy tank of the Surf. We've got so much residual energy, we're actually going to be able to outpace Jellicent to the next double Drill Run. The opponent shields the first, we're going to be able to throw the second, and it's going to be high Jelly, bye Jelly. Sandslash absolutely going off. If the opponent sends back up Nidoqueen, which they do, they're still going to need to Earth Power to take me out. Trainer, I promise, Poison Fang doesn't get the job done. The opponent throws the Poison Fang, we withstand the damage. The opponent then opts to catch the Ice Punch onto Mandibuzz, and at this stage we could just send out either Pokemon. However, I've not used Charizard in a while, so let's stretch its legs. I'm just going to tank the first move. The opponent throws the Dark Pulse, which does land for quite a lot of damage as Charizard is pretty glassy. We're then just going to shield up the next move, farm up to the double Blast Burn, and Charizard is about to sweep the back line. This first Blast Burn's going to vanquish Mandibuzz back to its Pokeball, and Nidoqueen is about to meet the same fate. GG's, and thanks for playing. As I said in the intro, teams are so weak to Sandslash. Moving on to the next battle. We see Sandslash into the basic Bitch Tin Can. The entire team does fairly well. Into Registeel, we're going to farm up, throw the Drill Run before the opponent can potentially one-shot me with a Focus Blast. As I said, the entire team's pretty good into Reggie, so I dare the opponent to Focus Blast. The opponent actually go for the Zap Cannon. We easily withstand the damage. The opponent then makes a very nice catch, catching the next debuff Drill Run On to Greedent. However, hello Chunky Squirrel. My god, do we have a very nice answer for you in the form of Poliwrath. The opponent says no thank you and concedes the match. So top tip, don't bait. In the next battle, another Tentacruel lead with another Greedent Say switch. So I'm already thinking Home Slice Henry's team. This team and Poliwrath Double Dark Poison are without a doubt the two most common teams. If you're seeing Henry's team of Squidward, Greedent and Guzzlord, give this team a try, as it's just going to be a very easy RPS for the win. We're going to play this matchup out exactly the same as we played the last one. We're going to throw the Icy Wind, let ourselves get incredibly low, not giving Squidward too much free farm and commit to the counter farm down. Poliwrath does leave low and leaves with the Scold. For the road, the opponent likely sends back out Squidward. Last time we didn't get a debuff. Come on RNG, give Poliwrath a debuff. The RNG gods say, not today trainer. We attempt to reach an Icy Wind. The opponent does get a very nice Poison Jab farm down. The opponent then pivots out into Scrafty. Interesting, it isn't the team I was expecting, but we're still in an alright spot. I call the first one, the opponent lands the foul play. Charizard withstands the damage, I'm going to farm up. Go for a Dragon Claw bait. I very rarely bait, and this is wise. The opponent calls it, which now puts us in somewhat of a tricky spot. I'm going to shield up what is likely a power-up punch. The opponent actually full send a foul play. I think if they power-up punch me there, they could have potentially counter-farmed down. However, like this, we're just going to have to double blast burn Squidward. Despite it being resisted, Shadow Charizard hits like a truck. The opponent shields the first. We fire off the second. The opponent needs to tank one. They opt to tank the next one. We can tank the Scold, and we're going to be able to Shadow Claw farm down and take that game. You can see Scold doesn't do all that much damage, and the opponent's going to concede. GG's. I think that Dragon Claw is probably the first bait I've thrown in about 3 weeks, and my god, was it a shit bait. Moving on to the next battle, we see a Nightmare lead. We pivot into the mirror. In any lost leads, we are going to utilise Poliwrath as the Say switch for the duration of the video. The opponent fire off the Scold. They get the attack drop. We're going to return fire with our own Scold. Do we get an attack drop finally? No, we don't. The opponent now pivot out into Gliscor. We are going to fire off the Icy Wind. Now we've got a lowered attack. This isn't going to do all that much damage. The opponent easily withstands it and do commit to the full wing attack farm down. Since Earthquake got nerfed last season, Alolan Sandslash can actually tank an Earthquake from full health. So we're easily going to tank one now they've got a lowered attack. The opponent very unlikely to bait, but I don't care. We tank the first. Night Slash isn't going to knock out. So we're going to tank this as well. I'm going to bank the Drill Run and pivot into Zard. We bank the Drill Run, send out Zard. Zard gets the wing attack farm down. If Poliwrath does return, I'm just going to continue to farm up, as Charizard with energy is absolutely lethal. This is only an Icy Wind, but it does hit for around 45% of my health. The opponent now send out Reggie, and this time there is no baiting. We full send the first Blast Burn, forcing a Protect Shield. As we kept farming up, we're easily going to be able to outpace the Blast Burn. Number 2, and the opponent choose to invest their final Protect Shield. Already we've got a very clear win con. I'm going to shield up with Zap Cannon. We're going to fire off one further Blast Burn. Switch timers are misaligned, so we're going to snipe them with the Drill Run we've got banked. Blast Burn easily puts this stupid Tin Can into Drill Run range. We snipe it with the Drill Run. Hi Reggie, bye Reggie. There's minimal farm on our Sandslash. Poliwrath comes in, gets one counter. We send back out Zard, reach the Dragon Claw, and despite hard losing lead, we're going to take that game. GG's. We managed to go 5-0 in the first set with a team I've never used before. Let's go. Moving on to the next battle. Drapion. Pretty neutral matchup. We're both resisting each other's quick move. However, we have the potential to land a super effective Drill Run. The opponent switch out into Tapu Fini. Once again, we haven't really got a great response for Tapu, so Sonic is happy to stay here. We're just going to fire off Drill Run after Drill Run. The first one landed. The second one lands as well. We're going to be able to tank the Surf, commit to the full Shadow Claw farm down, and we're going to be able to get the alignment that we want. Surf doesn't do too much. Once again, we leave with the Drill Run. Whatever the opponent sends out will be switch locked, and of course I have the ability to switch. The opponent sends out Poliwrath. We send out Charizard. Like the previous battle, we're just going to shield once, continue to farm up. The opponent probably pivots back out into Drapion. Out comes Drapion. You know the drill. There is no bait, and we full send the Blast Burn. Blast Burn lands for huge damage. No one move will take me out. The opponent fires off the Crunch. We're going to throw the Dragon Claw. We actually end up getting the CMP tie, so I'm going to choose to hit no bubbles, so we can come in with Poliwrath and get a bit of free farm. Unfortunately, we won't get too much farm, but it's going to be 2 versus 1, and we've even got a move on Sandslash. The opponent's at a huge health disadvantage with their Poliwrath, but they do have 2 Protect Shields, 2 high beyond. We send in Poliwrath, get a 1 counter head start back out, comes the opponent's Poliwrath. If the opponent would have built to a possible Dynamic Punch or Scald, I would have burnt my final shield here. However, they actually go straight Icy Wind. I'm also going Icy Wind. As this is the opponent's final Pokemon, they're going to be unable to reset that debuff. We're then going to look to catch the next Icy Wind onto Sandslash. We don't make the catch. However, we have got a move bank, so we throw the Drill Run, which does force the opponent's final Protect Shield. I send back out my own Poliwrath. Once again, throw the Icy Wind. Icy Wind won't be lethal, however, the opponent's only going to reach one move. I'm going to shield in case they're running Dynamic Punch. I doubt it, but better to be safe than sorry. The opponent throw the Scald. We counter farm down and take that game. What a lead. The opponent instantly top left, so I wonder if they're running my team of Gliscor and Swampert, where I managed to lose to every single Sandslash I saw. I guess we're never going to know. In the next battle, we see Jellicent. So 1, 4 and 7 all the way, so I throw 7 Shadow Claws and the Drill Run for optimal fast move timing. The opponent continuing to farm up a boatload of energy. We do survive any one move. I'm not interested in shielding. This opponent full sends a Shadow Ball. We withstand the damage. And we're going to fire off Drill Run number 2 and see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent choose to invest that Protect Shield. Sonic has done its job, so we're just going to let it go down. I'm going to send out Charizard. Shield once if the opponent reaches Surf. And look to get ahead in energy. The opponent actually choose to pivot into Alolan Muck. We full send the Blast Burn. Does the opponent respect the damage? Muck straight in and straight out. If the opponent sends back out Jellicent, we're going to throw 4 wing attacks and look to catch the Surf onto Poly. Back out comes Jelly. We throw the 4, make the catch. Jellicent is so low, they're actually going to get double resisted. Counter farm down. The opponent not a fan of that catch and concede the match. GG's. Moving on to the next battle. We need Sonic into Gliscor. Great lead. The opponent say switch into G-Weezy. We're going to look to force ourselves early shield advantage and then send out Charizard. We fire off the Drill Run, do force that Protect Shield, and here comes Zard. Charizard's a very good answer for G-Weezy. At worst, they can hit me with a Sludge or Brutal Swing. No one runs Sludge, so we're going to tank the first Brutal Swing. We can easily tank the second as well. The key with Charizard is energy management. Despite me being in the red, I should have farmed up, thrown this Blast Burn on the CMP tie. Energy management needs to be on point if you're going on these glass cannons. You're going to see now, as I didn't overfarm there, we're actually going to get wing attack farm down before we reach the Blast Burn. We're still in an advantageous spot. I send back out Sandslash. The opponent attempts to catch an Ice Punch onto Tapu Fini, and we're very happy to see Tapu Fini here. And we've got a whole heap of energy. We land the first Drill Run. Of course, we're not going to bait. I still have 2 Protect Shields. We don't want to shield a Surf. A Surf's a pretty trash move. Surf does get me into the red. We're going to return fire with the next Drill Run. Where does the opponent burn their final shield? They don't burn it here. We're going to commit to the full Shadow Claw farm down. And we're going to spam the switch. The opponent does blind. Throw the Night Slash. We catch onto Poliwrath. And you can see it looks like the opponent has force closed the app. The thing I hate most in GBL is when people force close the app, as it means you're going to get a shit ton of lag, waste your time trying to get the opponent out of there. We fire off the Icy Wind. It's going to take about 6 years for the move to finally go through, but either way we're going to take that game. GG's. Moving on to the next battle, Shadow Poliwrath. We're going to pivot into our own Poliwrath. Very nice shiny from the opponent. I'll be honest, I'm very jealous as I don't have a shiny Shadow Poliwag, and I really wish I did. The opponent fires off the Scald. They then pivot out into Skunk Tank, so we already know this is my own team of Poliwrath Double Dark Poison. The opponent running the full Shadow version, so shout out to them. We land the Scald. Poliwrath even makes the Icy Wind. Icy Wind, forced to Protect Shield. Pogo King did actually feature this team, and he recommends Trailblaze. As I've lowered the opponent's attack by 2 stages, we are going to survive a Flamethrower. Does the opponent have it? Ouch. Yes, they do. We're going to throw the Ice Punch, and Charizard should still be in a good spot. Ice Punch secures the knockout, a pivot out into Zard. The only reason I should shield here is if they build up to the Scald. The opponent does not, so why the fuck am I shielding an Icy Wind? I was so annoyed at this game, as I played like a potato and threw it. Icy Wind does do quite a lot of damage, but as I know they've got Draper in the back, they wouldn't have Poison Stung farm me down. You're going to see Blast Burn debuff just doesn't do enough damage. The opponent correctly farms up to the double crunch. We tank the move. I send back out Sandslash. Another potential win con in this battle would have been to throw the Dragon Claw, look to force the final shield, then Shadow Claw farm down and reach the Drill Run. You can see I did neither of them as I was super tilted. But regardless, it's good to watch your battles back, see where you made mistakes, and hopefully you don't make them in the future. In the next battle, we see a Gengar in the lead. The opponent stays in, which is a bit strange. The opponent doesn't build up to a Shadow Ball, so we survive the Shadow Punch, return fire with the Ice Punch, and the opponent's even shielded. Holy cow, they must be weak. I am actually going to shield this up, look to Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent actually now choose to send out Cresselia. I'm going to chip this Cresselia with a Drillron and then look to pivot into Charizard. Drillron and the Shadow Claw should more or less put this thing into Blast Burn range. I'm praying there's no Future Sight. The opponent does have Future Sight and ouch, that hurt. We're then going to farm up, throw the Blast Burn on the CMP tie. Charizard hits hard. I'm hoping this knocks out, but oof, the opponent survive on 1 HP and that's rough. This is going to mean we're going to lose Switch. If you're going to run Crest, I definitely recommend Future Sight for all them pesky fire types. I'm going to wait on my clock, send out Sandslash. Sandslash gets the Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent sends out Gengar. Gengar gets farmed down. What the heck is that third? It turns out to be Clefable. We're going to fire off the Drillron, pivot into Poliwrath. The opponent likely baits, but I'm thinking at this stage we're just going to shield whatever the opponent throws. Of course they master bait. Holy crap, after losing the last game, we are getting somewhat tilted. However, this game's still over. We farm up to the Skull bait with the Icy Wind. The opponent's going to need to full send the Moonblast to take me out. The opponent's counting is on point. They throw the Moonblast on the CMP type. We've got enough energy on Sandslash to come in, outpace, and we're going to be able to take that game. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we'll lead Alolan Sandslash into Jellicent. A lot of Jellicent leads often stay in as they don't have a great response for Sandslash. Again, we're going to farm up, throw at good timing. 2-turn into 3-turn. I'm going to keep saying it, 1, 4 and 7. I think fast move timing is generally the difference between, say, a vet player and legend player. I never choose to shield this move as I find people often like to bait Shadow Alolan Sandslash thinking it's glassy when in reality it's got reasonable bulk. Again, we throw at discipline timing. It's super important to throw at discipline timing and we're trying to get over the tilt of the previous couple of battles. The opponent again throw a Surf, which is going to allow me to take switch or force both protect shields. The opponent actually choose to 2-shield their lead and we are sitting in a great spot. The opponent has residual energy. I don't want to shield yet, so I'm just going to send in Poliwrath, absorb the Shadow Ball, and then we're going to pivot into 2-shield Zard. Because when shields are down, Shadow Charizard goes to town. We come in, get a 1-wing attack head start. The opponent send out G-Weezy, and this is by no means a Charizard response. So it takes G-Weezing 5, then 4 to the Brutal Swing. So we're going to throw 4-wing attacks, throw the Blast Burn on the CMP tie. Get that G-Weezy out of here. The opponent's final Pokemon is Alolan Ninetales, and the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see a neutral lead. If you're wondering why it's neutral, because we're a Steel type and the opponent is a Fairy, Meteor Mash hits for a lot of neutral damage. CMP in this matchup is actually IV dependent as well. The opponent continues to farm up, not wanting to play to CMP. They build up to 99 energy, throw the Meteor Mash. We're going to return fire with the Drillron, and you can see my Sandslash is like rank 8 or something, so I actually lose CMP. We're able to survive 2 Meteor Mashes. We're going to fire off the next Drillron. The opponent choose to let it go, so we're going to win lead. It's quite tempting to try and catch a Meteor Mash onto Charizard. However, I don't really like safe switching Charizard, so instead I just stay in the lead. The opponent sends out Giratina, and I'm fearful they might have Ancient Power, so I opt to send out Poliwrath. The opponent throws the Dragon Claw. We're going to farm up, look to throw the Icy Wind on the CMP side. The opponent doesn't throw. We throw the Icy Wind and the opponent shields. Perhaps they've got Registeel in the back. As they're choosing to shield their Giratina, we fire off the next Icy Wind and the opponent double shields. They pivot into Greedent. And again, I've made a huge mistake. We're not in Body Slam range. So what I should have done there is farm up to the Icy Wind, so I've got it ready for later. I actually thought Giratina might be in double Dragon Claw range. You're going to see I'm going to throw the Blast Burn. We're now going to Wing Attack farm down. We're going to shield one Body Slam, tank the next Body Slam, leave with the double Dragon Claw. But you're going to see, spoiler alert, 2 Dragon Claws aren't going to be lethal. So despite going 17-3 with this team, I actually think if I would have had perfect gameplay throughout the day, it should have been 19-1. The one loss that I'm not going to showcase is where I got absolutely wrecked by a stupid Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. You can see 2 Dragon Claws don't get the job done. This Giratina has 1 bazillion energy. I'm hoping Poliwrath's thick enough to survive 2 Shadow Claws, or Dragon Claws I should say, but you're going to see we certainly don't. As we're so low in the red, the opponent is going to take that game, and again, a very frustrating loss. GG's to that opponent. I know a lot of content creators don't like to show their losses, especially ones that are super frustrating where you don't think you played well. However, I think it's good learning for us all. It is what it is, and you can see this team is actually so good as we could have actually went 19-1. In the next battle, We see Swampert in the lead. I'm just going to stay in here. We're going to call the bait. The opponent throws the Hydro Cannon. We're then going to look to catch the next Hydro Cannon onto Poliwrath. We haven't really safe switched too much, but Poliwrath can't miss out on the opportunity to make a very nice catch. The opponent now send out Skunk Tank. They go straight for the crunch. So I know I'm going to survive. It takes 8 to the Trailblazer. I've only thrown 7. We survive the crunch, return fire with the Scald. The opponent let it go. So we managed to flip switch. The opponent's final Pokemon is Trevenant. We know Swampert is still alive in the back, so I'm not ever going to throw, because I know the opponent's going to look to make a catch. We're just going to be super disciplined, continue to farm up. The opponent builds up to the Shadow Ball bait with the Seed Bomb. Nice bait trainer. However, this game's still over. There's the attempted catch. We wing attack farm all the way down. We've got the double blast burn and the nice punch loaded. The opponent choose to look to call a bait, however, hashtag no baits on this channel, and we're going to take that game. Moving on to the final battle of the video. Great lead. Shadow and Shadow Crime, Dragonite into Sandslash. The opponent attempts to catch a move onto Jellicent. I don't throw at the best timing. Sometimes it is awkward when the opponent switches. We land the first Drill Run. And now it's time to be super disciplined. We throw 4 Shadow Claws and the Drill Run. This is exactly where we want to see Jellicent. We are going to be able to tank any one move. The opponent throw the Surf. I was tempted to catch the next Surf onto Poliwrath, but instead I'm just going to look to counter farm down. The opponent throws the Surf. We're going to come in with Poliwrath, look for the resisted, counter farm down, and we're going to leave almost at an Icy Wind. So the opponent's unlikely to send out Dragonite. The opponent chooses to send out a Skunk Tank. We throw the Scald. Scald goes unshielded. If the opponent builds to 8, I'm going to look to catch the potential Trailblaze onto Charizard. Does the opponent have Trailblaze? Yes, they do. A very nice catch, if I do say so myself. The opponent sends back out Dragonite, and I'm going to start shielding. I just need to force both Protect Shields with the Dragon Claws. The opponent pretty much has to shield this. The opponent shields the first. The opponent's counting absolutely on point. They throw the next one just before we reach the Dragon Claw. I'm going to shield this up, force the opponent's final Protect Shield. So charge moves take around 10 seconds. So the opponent's switch timer will be up. The opponent does get the full Dragon Breath farm down. They're going to throw a Dragon Claw, which we are going to survive. I've got the Icy Wind bank, but I'm going to anticipate the opponent looking to catch onto Skunk Tank. So we counter farm it down. We leave with the Icy Wind, and we're going to close out the video with a big fat dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. If you're looking to climb, I'd highly recommend this team. I did go 17-3, but 2 of the losses I do think I probably should have won if I would have played somewhat better. So it could have been 19-1. So if you're looking for a strong team, give this one a try. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.